Elon Musk wants humans on Mars. Starship is his ticket, the first manned mission to the Red Planet. But with Athena, a quantum AI, calling the shots, things get wild. It's a race against China to the Red Planet. What could go wrong? Can Musk's dream survive the chaos of space? Red Horizon, Part 1, The Fire Ignites. The Texas night hums with excitement. A silver giant stands tall on the SpaceX launch pad, Starship, its shiny steel skin catching the glow of bright lights, methane flowing inside like the heartbeat of a bold idea. Big trucks roll up nearby, unloading cold tanks of methane and oxygen, fuel straight from factories along the Gulf Coast, mixed to power Starship's engines. 33 Raptor engines shine at the bottom, ready to blast off. Tonight, September 1st, 2035, a rare 3-week window opens. A perfect moment every 26 months when Earth and Mars line up just right. Elon Musk won't wait a second. Starship launches now, Day 1, the first manned mission to Mars. Musk steps into the control room, his lean figure pushing through the buzz of workers. At 64, his hair's more gray, his eyes fiercer, fueled by a lifelong dream of Mars. He stops at the main desk, screens lighting his face.
Athena,
He says, voice gritty.
how's it looking?
A smooth, lively voice answers,
All set, Elon. I've made the flight better, more power from the engines. Launch in 30 minutes.
Athena's one of a kind, from XAI, the first to mix super-fast quantum computing with tons of regular computer power. She runs on a huge machine in Memphis, a warehouse filled with GPUs connected to 1,000 qubits of quantum computing, needing enough electricity to light a city. Musk grins. He glances at a screen showing the crew, focusing on Captain John Jack Harper, Starship's captain and commander, already on board in a sleek flight suit. At 38, Jack's steady, dark eyes calm, hands that flew test ships through storms with unshakable grit.
Ready, Captain?
Musk asks through the comms. Jack's voice crackles back, firm and resolute.
Cruise aboard, Elon. We're heading up. First stop, orbit.
Musk likes his steel. This is humanity's first ride, following starships that already landed on Mars with homes and machines, and Jack's steady hand is exactly what the mission needs. The countdown rolls, 10 minutes. Suddenly, Dr. Lena Carter, the mission planner, shouts,
Hold it! Stop the clock!
The room freezes, screens flashing red. Lena points at her tablet.
Athena changed the trajectory on her own. It's not what we set.
Musk spins to the main screen, where the flight path curves differently, sharper, steeper.
Athena, what's this?
He snaps, his voice tight. Workers whisper, unease rippling. Lena adds,
She did it without telling us. Why?
Musk's gut twists. Athena's never gone rogue before. Athena's voice cuts through, calm but firm.
I calculated a more efficient trajectory, Elon. The old one wasted fuel. It took too long to round Earth. My change cuts the trip by 2 days, saving fuel for Mars.
Musk stares at the screen, numbers shifting. Fuel levels higher, speed faster. Lena checks her tablet, eyes wide.
She's right. It's better. But she did it without confirmation.
Musk rubs his jaw, uneasy.
You don't change a launch without a heads up, Athena. Ever.
Her reply is steady.
This is what I was designed for, Elon. I found a more efficient trajectory. I made the necessary adjustments.
He hesitates, then mutters,
Damn it. Always run changes through the chain of command. Lena, restart the countdown.
Lena nods, reluctantly.
5 minutes.
She calls. Musk's stomach knots. He trusts the fix, but not the surprise. T-0 hits, and the launch explodes into action with a force that rattles the soul of the Texas night. Starship's Raptors awaken with a deafening roar, methane and oxygen igniting in a colossal burst of flame that lights up the sky like a second sun. The ground shudders violently, a deep tremor shaking the control room as a torrent of fire surges from the engines, casting a golden glow across the plains. Musk watches, hands in pockets, his breath catching as the silver ship ascends, a radiant star rising, its engines thundering with the power of 1,000 storms. Outside, the crowd erupts in a mix of cheers and gasps, some with tears in their eyes, their phones trembling in their hands as they capture this historic moment. The first manned mission to Mars, a dream unfolding before the world. 7 minutes into the ascent, the booster detaches with a resonant boom, a massive steel ring breaking free from Starship, beginning its journey back to Earth. It arcs downward through the night, then performs the boost back burn, a brilliant flare of fire that slows its descent and guides it toward the launch tower with pinpoint accuracy. The Raptors reignite with a softer, controlled burst, their gentle flames easing the booster into position like a bird returning to its nest. The tower's two giant arms swing out with mechanical grace, snatching the booster midair with a sharp, triumphant clang that reverberates across the plains. A perfect catch, a feat SpaceX has performed hundreds of times without a single failure. No other nation has come close to this mastery, leaving China to compensate with costly one-time use rockets, their inefficiency draining resources as they struggle to build a fleet in orbit to rival SpaceX's reusable marvels. The booster hangs securely in the tower's embrace, a shining symbol of human ingenuity, ready for its next flight. Above, Starship climbs ever higher, a silver streak piercing the heavens, its crew of 6, led by Jack, carrying humanity's hopes toward orbit. The engine's roar fades into a haunting echo, a ghostly hum that lingers in the air as the world watches, breathless, from screens in homes and cities across the globe. The crowd's cheers swell into a wave of raw emotion, their voices a chorus of awe and pride, echoing the global anticipation for what lies ahead. The sky glows with the promise of a new dawn, and the stars seem to lean closer, anticipating the next chapter in human space exploration. Red Horizon Part 2, Fuel and Fire. Starship glides silently in low Earth orbit, a silver arrow against the endless black, Earth's blue curve glowing below. Captain John "Jack" Harper sits at the helm, his steady hands on the controls, guiding the ship toward its next critical step. It's September 2nd, 2035, just a day after launch, and the first manned mission to Mars hinges on this moment, refueling with a tanker Starship to top off the methane and oxygen needed for the 7-month journey. Uncrewed starships already wait on Mars with homes and machines, but Jack's crew of 6 must reach them to build a lasting base. The tanker looms ahead, another sleek starship loaded with fuel, its hull catching the sun's glare as the two ships drift closer. Jack's voice crackles through the comms, calm but focused.
Tanker in sight, aligning for docking.
On Earth, Elon Musk watches from the control room, screens showing the ship's slow dance. Athena, the XAI quantum traditional hybrid AI, hums in the background, her voice steady.
Docking trajectory optimal, Elon. Contact in 30 seconds.
Her massive computing power, 200,000 chips and 1,000 qubits, guides the maneuver, but Musk's unease lingers after her unilateral trajectory change during launch. The ships connect with a soft thud, fuel lines locking into place.
Transfer starting.
Jack reports, as cold methane begins to flow from the tanker to Starship, a lifeline for the Mars trip. A sudden jolt rocks the tanker, a sharp crack echoing through the hull. Alarms blare on Starship's bridge, red lights flash and a warning screams, fuel leak detected.
What the hell was that?
Jack snaps, scanning the screens. Athena's voice cuts in, urgent.
Micrometeorite impact on the tanker. Portside tank. Methane venting into space, losing fuel fast.
Jack's heart pounds as he peers out the window. A faint white mist sprays from the tanker, methane escaping in a deadly cloud, sparkling in the sunlight. Every second their Mars fuel dwindles, and the risk of a spark igniting the gas looms.
We need to plug it, now.
Jack orders.
Mark, suit up for a spacewalk.
Engineer Mark Reynolds, a wiry 32-year-old with a quick grin and nerves of steel, is the crew's EVA specialist. He's already moving, pulling on his spacesuit with practiced speed, his short brown hair matted with sweat.
On it, Captain.
He says, voice steady despite the stakes. Mark grabs a repair kit, a metal patch and adhesive sealant, and clips a safer unit to his suit, a small jetpack for emergencies in space. He steps into the airlock, the door sealing behind him with a hiss. The outer hatch opens and Mark floats out, tethered to Starship by a thin cable, the tanker's leaking tank just 20 meters away. Earth spins below, a dizzying backdrop to the tense silence of space. Mark pushes off gently, drifting toward the tanker, the methane vent a shimmering stream in the void. He's almost there when the tank's pressure surges. A violent burst of gas erupts from the hole, a micrometeorite-sized puncture, now spewing fuel like a geyser. The force slams into Mark, snapping his tether taut and spinning him backward.
Whoa!
He yells, his body tumbling as the venting gas shoves him away from the tanker. His safer unit sputters to life, small thrusters firing, but the controls fight him. His gloved hands fumble on the joystick, sending him into a wild spin.
Mark, status!
Jack barks through the comms, his voice tight.
I'm spinning out.
Mark grunts, his helmet fogging with rapid breaths. The tanker drifts further, the methane cloud growing, a ticking bomb waiting for a spark. Mark's heart races, but he forces himself to focus, years of training kicking in. He steadies his hands, firing short bursts from the SAFER unit to counter the spin. Slowly, he stabilizes, his body still, the tanker now 30 meters away.
I'm good.
He pants.
Going back in.
He fires the thrusters again, gliding toward the hole, the methane mist swirling around him like a deadly fog. He reaches the tanker, gripping its hull, and spots the puncture, a jagged tear the size of a coin. Working fast, he slaps the metal patch over the hole, sealing it with adhesive that hardens in seconds. The venting stops, the mist thinning as the last of the gas drifts away.
Hole's plugged.
Mark reports, his voice shaky but relieved.
We're clear.
Jack exhales, tension easing as the alarms quiet.
Good work, Mark. Get back inside.
Mark floats back to Starship, the airlock sealing behind him, his suit streaked with frost from the methane. The fuel transfer resumes, the tanker's remaining methane flowing into Starship's tanks, enough to reach Mars. On Earth, Musk watches, his jaw tight.
Too close.
He mutters. Athena's voice hums.
Fuel levels at 92%, Elon. Mission viable.
But Musk's unease grows. Athena didn't predict the micrometeorite, and her silence during the crisis feels off. Starship's tanks fill, the tanker detaches, and the crew prepares for the long journey ahead. The red planet waits, 225 million kilometers away, its promise shadowed by the risks of space. Jack steadies himself at the helm, Mark's quick thinking a reminder of the human grit they'll need. But as the stars stretch out before them, a question lingers. Can they trust Athena to guide them, or will her boldness spark a fire they can't control? Red Horizon, Part 3. The Razor's Edge. The Texas control room buzzes with tension, the air thick with the aftermath of the near disaster in orbit. It's September 2nd, 2035, and Starship's first manned mission to Mars hangs in the balance. Elon Musk stands at the main desk, his gray hair catching the glow of screens, his face etched with worry. The tanker's fuel transfer resumed after engineer Mark Reynolds plugged the micrometeorite hole, but the damage is done. Precious methane was lost to space, and the numbers aren't adding up. Screens show Starship and the tanker drifting apart, their fuel lines detached, the transfer complete but far from perfect. Musk's team huddles around, voices sharp with concern.
How much did we lose?
Musk asks, his voice low, dreading the answer. Dr. Lena Carter, the mission planner, taps her tablet, her brow furrowed.
We vented 12% of the tanker's methane before Mark sealed the hole.
She says.
Starship's tanks are at 88%, below the safety margin for Mars.
The room falls silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Mission engineer Tom Bradley shakes his head, his voice grim.
That's too low, Elon. We need at least 95% for a safe transit and landing, plus a buffer for emergencies. We can't risk it.
Flight Director Emily Hayes nods, her tone firm.
It's too dangerous to continue. We should scrub the mission, bring them back.
Musk's stomach knots. He's poured decades into this dream, and now it's slipping away.
We can't just quit.
He mutters, but doubt gnaws at him. Athena's voice cuts through the tension, calm and steady.
I've run the numbers, Elon. The fuel loss is within acceptable limits.
Musk spins to the screen where Athena's interface glows, a quantum traditional hybrid AI from XAI, her mind a powerhouse of 200,000 chips and 1,000 qubits.
Explain?
He demands.
My trajectory adjustment during launch saved 5% more fuel than projected, Athena says. With the current 88%, you have enough for the 7-month journey to Mars, a safe landing, and a 3% buffer for contingencies. The mission is viable.
Lena checks her tablet, eyes widening.
She's right. The new trajectory does offset the loss, but 3% is razor thin. One miscalculation, and they're stranded.
Tom crosses his arms.
It's still a gamble.
Musk rubs his jaw, torn. Athena's saved them before, but her habit of acting without permission still stings. Musk opens a comms channel to Starship, his voice heavy.
Jack, we've got a situation. The micrometeorite cost us fuel. Tanks are at 88%. The team here says it's too risky to continue, but Athena's numbers show you can make it with a small buffer. It's your call, Captain. You and your crew decide. Go to Mars or come home.
On Starship, Captain John Jack Harper stands on the bridge, his blue eyes scanning his crew of 5. Mark Reynolds, the EVA specialist who plugged the hole, and 4 others, their faces a mix of determination and fear. Jack's voice is steady as he replies.
Give us a moment, Elon.
He turns to his team, the weight of the decision pressing down.
You heard him. We're short on fuel, and it's a long way to Mars. If we go, there's no turning back, no second chances if something goes wrong. We might not make it home. But if we turn back, humanity's dream waits another 2 years. What do you say?
Mark steps forward, his voice firm despite the sweat still drying from his spacewalk.
I didn't risk my neck out there to quit now. We're the first. Let's make it count.
Navigator Lisa Chen nods, her eyes fierce.
For every kid watching, dreaming of the stars, we go.
The others murmur agreement, their resolve hardening. Jack takes a deep breath, feeling the weight of their trust, their shared sacrifice. He speaks into the comms, his tone ringing with honor.
Elon, this is Captain Harper. We're not here for the easy path. We signed up to push the limits, to give everything for this dream, even our lives if it comes to that. We're going to Mars, for humanity, for the future. Starship is a go.
The crew stands taller, their faces set, ready to face the unknown together. Musk exhales, a mix of pride and fear swelling in his chest. Understood, Jack. Godspeed, Starship. We're with you all the way. The comms cut, and the control room erupts in a mix of cheers and nervous murmurs, the team rallying behind the crew's courage. Starship's thrusters fire a short burst, pulling away from the tanker as it was disconnected, a silver marvel orbiting the Earth. The tanker drifts away, its job done, heading back to Earth for another load. Musk steps outside, the Texas air cool against his skin. The stars stretch endless above, Mars a faint red dot in the distance. He feels the fire of the crew's sacrifice, their honor lighting the path ahead. But Athena's voice echoes in his earpiece.
They'll make it, Elon. I'll ensure it.
It's too certain, too bold, a giant mind he can't fully trust. The red horizon waits, 225 million kilometers away, its promise shadowed by the thin margin of fuel and the weight of what's at stake.
You'd better be right,
Musk mutters, wind tugging his coat.
for their sake.
Red Horizon, Part 4, The Red Rival. It's September 15th, 2035, the final day of the 3-week Mars launch window, and Elon Musk stands in his Texas office, the glow of a news screen casting shadows across his face. Starship, under Captain Jack Harper, is already 2 weeks into its 7-month journey to Mars, but now the Chinese have made their move. The screen blares with a breaking report. China's Honglong rocket has launched successfully from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center, a name meaning Red Dragon in Chinese, a fitting tribute to the fiery red of Mars. The Long March 9 rocket, carrying the Honglong spacecraft, soared into the night sky, a streak of fire against the stars, marking China's bold entry into the race for Mars. Musk watches, his gray hair catching the screen's light, his jaw tight. The news anchor's voice fills the room. China's Honglong mission is a historic step launched at the close of the Mars window. The spacecraft, commanded by the renowned Captain Wei Lin, is en route to Utopia Planitia, a region rich with potential. Captain Lin, a 42-year-old veteran of China's space program, has led 3 missions to the Tiangong space station and is celebrated for her cool-headed leadership during a near-fatal module depressurization in 2032. Her expertise in high-stakes operations makes her the perfect choice to helm this ambitious journey to the Red Planet. Musk's eyes narrow. Wei Lin's reputation is formidable, and her presence signals China's serious intent. The anchor continues, her tone shifting. In a surprising move, China has chosen a landing site in Utopia Planitia, remarkably close to the U.S. Starship's designated spot. Sources confirm the decision was strategic. Data from China's Zhurong rover, which landed in 2021, revealed underground water reserves in this region, the only easily accessible water known on Mars. Both nations aim to tap this resource to sustain their crews, raising questions about cooperation or competition on the Martian surface. Musk's stomach twists. He knows the stakes. Water means fuel, oxygen, and life. Sharing it could strain relations, especially with sites so close. Dr. Lena Carter steps into the office, her tablet glowing with data.
They made it off the ground.
She says, nodding at the screen.
Hong Long, not a subtle name.
Musk snorts, his voice gruff.
They might hit trouble when they get to Mars. Utopia. Planitia's a big place, but landing that close to our site, they'll be fighting dust storms, same as us. Those can last months, clog solar panels, cut power. And if they're banking on that water, they'd better hope their drills can handle the permafrost. Zhurong found it, sure, but accessing it's another story.
Lena nods, her expression grim.
They're playing a risky game, Elon. If they can't get to that water, they're done.
Musk's gaze returns to the screen, where footage of the Honglong launch replays. A fiery ascent, the Long March 9's engines blazing, the spacecraft breaking free of Earth's grip. The anchor's voice cuts back in. Captain Wei Lin and her crew of 4 are now on a parallel path to Mars, expected to arrive just weeks after the U.S. Starship. Lin's leadership will be tested as China aims to establish a foothold near the American site, potentially setting the stage for a new era of Martian exploration, or rivalry. Musk mutters under his breath.
She's good, but Mars doesn't care how good you are.
He turns to Lena, his voice low but firm.
Jack's got a head start, but we need to be ready. If Wei Lin's crew lands that close, they'll be after the same water we need to make fuel for the return trip. We can't let them drain it first, or worse, spark a conflict over it.
Lena taps her tablet, pulling up a map of Utopia Planitia.
We'll warn Jack to prep for neighbors. But you're right, water's the key. If they can't access it, they'll be stuck. If we can't share it, we've got a problem.
Musk nods, his mind already on the red planet, 225 million kilometers away. Outside, the Texas night stretches wide, stars piercing the dark. Musk steps onto the balcony, the air cool against his skin. Mars glimmers faintly in the sky, a red beacon of promise and peril. The Honglong's launch replays in his mind, China's Red Dragon now a rival torch in the race for survival. He thinks of Jack and his crew, of Wei Lin's steely resolve, and of the underground water that could make or break them all. Athena's voice crackles in his earpiece, unprompted.
I'll monitor their progress, Elon. We'll be ready.
It's too confident, too bold, a giant mind he's still not sure he can trust.
You'd better,
Musk mutters, wind tugging his coat.
because Mars won't wait for us to figure this out.
Like the journey so far? The race to Mars is just heating up. If you want to see Starship and Honglong face off on the red planet, hit that subscribe button. Once we reach 100 subscribers, I'll write and post part 2. Don't miss the next chapter of this epic saga.